Okay, admit. We are recording. Hi, honey. I'm looking. Okay, he's here. We are recording again. It's set to automatically record, so we'll just presume every time we get on one of these calls. And it's now converting the one that we did. So we're on again. Good. Thank you for continuing.
Absolutely.
Where do you hail from, Adam?
St. Louis, Missouri, but I've lived kind of all over the place.
Oh, okay.
So
my daughter did some urban work in St. Louis for her college days.
Nice. Are you both up in New England?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I lived there in Manchester, New Hampshire for a year. I left about 3 years ago and moved here. I intended to start a business. This was my oldest sphere. This is where I was originally from. And of course, you know, the pandemic wrecked real estate and really made it, I was telling Lawrence, made real estate terrible. And I had a good first year, but I just didn't feel like swimming upstream with 1,000 other salmon and just suffering the real estate market and doing what I could, you know, putting in deals where it offers, 50,000 over asking price. You know, yeah. It's crazy. I mean, there's no.
We have a friend. We have a friend who does inspections as a living, and COVID's killed his business because people are just passing on inspections.
Have to keep the deal aggressive, you know, and that's crazy. The crazy thing. Biggest investment of your life financially, and yeah.
That friend is Paul that I was telling you about, my musician.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. But I miss New Hampshire. I've been planning to go up there to visit, and I would love to see you guys. Maybe go out and grab a bite if I get up there. What's that?
New Hampshire Free State Project.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting. It doesn't seem like that state's very free. Once you get up there, it's just very authoritarian. But I don't know. I digress.
Yeah. That is a digression. We could have a long conversation about that.
Yes, we could.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great part of the world. It's very beautiful up there.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Susan was just up in Maine visiting with members of her family this past weekend.
Nice. Which part of Maine?
Not Bangor. The other one. The other B town. Oh God, help me. My brain. I'm a little tired. Sorry.
Haba.
No. I'll look it up. Not a B. It's an R. Rockport.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and Camden, that area.
Yeah, Camden area.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I got some friends up there. I need to get up and visit. I've got Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont. I've got, and of course, I never got to Rhode Island. That's the one part I didn't get to. But people say, Rhode Island, that's not part of New England. It's like Connecticut. That's not part of New England. They used to jokingly say that to me, but.
Yeah, Rhode Island, when it comes to COVID, is really bad.
That's what I hear.
Really, really, really bad.
And I refuse to go places if they act like Nazis. I just won't go.
Yeah.
COVID Nazis.
Yeah, I won't do it.
Nazis. Yeah, that was actually part of our discussion tonight on the lawyers committee. Should we branch out into COVID, and decided it was just too sticky a wicket and we need to stay pure.
Yeah, and I would hate to see what happened with A&E, with Richard and I think we can all make a very legitimate evidence-based argument that the two are connected, but at the same time, it is a slippery slope. And I think you're right, just to stick to the bread and butter.
Well, part of the FOIA is the anthrax, which is a connection.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a circumstantial connection.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. But it still would be an opener, and we've decided to just put that on hold and basically just share with the COVID community the legal process that we're going through.
Yeah.
But nothing further from that, even though everyone on the lawyers committee is on the same page with COVID.
Well, let me also say this when it comes to anthrax. I didn't know that they were doing work on the lawyers committee, but one of the anomalies, I've witnessed a few, and that's one of the things that people are going to have trouble when it comes to debunking what I bring to the table. My specific company was the target of an anthrax attack shortly after 9/11. I've got a lay statement that I used in my Veterans Administration benefits hearing. So it's now legitimately being discussed. Yeah, but I claim PTSD as several things. At my time at the Pentagon, also, we've got in our mailroom attacked. And what I'm finding is that there's no public records of this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, nowhere. So, and who knows why, but there was a lot of different anthrax attacks happening at that point in time. And it just so happened that we were one of two companies that were first responders there. So why all of a sudden are we in Washington, D.C. a threat to anybody?
Right.
So that's one of the things that I pull. There's other anomalies that I pull together.
About going
I
solar
talk
for your
about,
home.
my time, but that's one thing. So, I could talk to the lawyers committee about a lot. So
I think I found that video. I think I found a video that might play. Let's see if it does.
okay.
Before you do, find out if solar is
Suffer an ad.
worth it for your home.
Yep. Oh, finally.
How powerful is the AGM-65 Maverick missile?
Is this the one I just sent you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
The AGM-65 Maverick is an air-to-ground missile designed for close air support. It's
This
the
is
most
the one.
widely produced precision-guided missile in the Western world, and it's effective against a wide range of tactical targets, including armor, air defenses, ships, ground transportation, and fuel storage facilities.
My favorite airplane.
Development began in 1966 at Hughes as the first missile to use an electronic contrast seeker. It entered service with the United States Air Force in August 1972. Since then, it's been exported to more than 30 countries and is certified on 25 aircraft. The Maverick served during Vietnam, Yom Kippur, Iran-Iraq, and the Persian Gulf Wars, along with other smaller conflicts, destroying enemy forces and installations with varying degrees of success. Since its introduction into service, numerous Maverick versions have been designed and produced using electro-optical, laser, and imaging infrared guidance systems. The AGM-65 has two types of warheads, one that has a contact fuse in the nose, the other has a heavyweight warhead fitted with a delayed action fuse, which penetrates the target with its kinetic energy before detonating. The missile is currently produced by Raytheon Missile Systems. The Maverick has a cylindrical body and either a rounded glass nose for electro-optical imaging or a zinc sulfide nose for imaging infrared. It has long cord delta wings and tail control surfaces mounted close to the trailing edge of the wing of the aircraft using it.
This is a good
The
video.
warhead is in
It's
the
not the one I
missile's center
had.
section. A cone-shaped warhead, one of two types carried by the Maverick missile, is fired by a contact fuse in the nose. The other is a delayed fuse penetrator, a heavyweight warhead that penetrates the target with its kinetic energy before firing. The latter is very effective against large, hard targets. The propulsion system for both types is a solid rocket motor behind the warhead. A-10, F-15E, and F-16 aircraft carry Mavericks. Since as many as 6 Mavericks can be carried by an aircraft, usually in 3-round underwing clusters, the pilot can engage several targets on one mission. The missile also has launch and leave capability. That enables a pilot to fire it and immediately take evasive action or attack another target as the missile guides itself to the target. Mavericks can be launched from high altitudes to treetop level.
This is a good
and can
one.
hit targets ranging from a distance
Great.
of a few thousand feet to
But it is long. It's
at
about
medium
half an
altitude.
hour long.
Okay, I'm going to
Maverick
pause it.
configurations are based on 3 seekers: television, infrared, and laser.
This is the best. This is not the video that I had before. This is so much more comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, good things happen.
Yeah, thank you, Susie. Thank you. I will make sure that this replaces the other one.
Okay.
Thank you. Good.
Well, you may want to edit it to make it more digestible.
No, I don't have that capacity.
Okay, because it's kind of long.
That's okay. People can jump.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's yeah, it is a long video, but it's a real good indicator. The introduction itself, just showing those two, the images of the attack where the explosion is just so similar in.
When I scanned it, there was that wavy trail.
Yeah.
So you might want to just move your cursor along to see if you can find that image of the wavy trail. Just put your cursor.
In this video here?
Yeah.
Okay, what I can do is mark, between you and me, we'll view the video and mark. We can do that for when we post the post.
And this is U.S. military news, no conspiracy, nothing edited.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a good source.
A real good source. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so you get the gist on this, and I'll make sure that you get the link so that you can study it further. There's no reason. Great.
Thank
Good.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I put the link in Facebook, and I think you're on there, Adam.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, your friends too. You can share the link directly with Adam. That's right. That would be great.
I think I already did.
Oh, good.
It goes to, because it's on the same link that you did the Facebook Messenger for this Zoom.
Okay, so if Adam doesn't get it, he can ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. The Pentagon thing is not one of my purviews, but the other aspect of 9/11 Building 4 is something I'm very interested in. I don't know if you wanted to go there or not, Adam.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for steering us in that direction, because it's my passion.
Yeah, and that's what my ears perked up with Xander, because the whole N question, the N word,
Right.
nuclear. One of the things that people seem to refuse to address, although they use it often, is the seismographic spikes. I mean, really, could building fallings and plane crashings cause that kind of a spike?
We're talking about the 2.1 and the 2.3. I'll run down to that now.
Yeah, but nobody really wants to go nuclear on this.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys talk with Barbara Honegger. That's Richard's buddy. She has interviewed.
She's my buddy too. I've been to her house, and she's been to my house. Yeah.
So you can ask her point blank. She'll probably tell you. She knows people that believe very strongly, very smart people that are experienced in these types of things. Bill Deagle specifically, that man had access to everything. And he said some scary stuff. I mean, this guy has actually been down into the dumbs. I don't know if you're familiar with what the dumbs are, deep underground military bases.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been down there. And she, claims he's a whistleblower. I've heard this man talk to another guy that was offered $1 million to blow up the Murrow building back in Oklahoma City days. So, this guy has connections.
Wow.
And he swears, and he will challenge anybody to debate this anytime, that it was mini nukes, and he can prove it. And he said he has irrefutable evidence. So you might want to talk to her about linking up with him, because I kind of asked her, I was like, well, you're with the lawyers, you got, Richard, all these things. Why don't you link them up? And she said, Richard refuses to look at anything.
He does.
Yeah.
He really does refuse.
Yeah.
He did a podcast with Lorenzo, and it was really very good until the bitter end.
Remember what I said before the podcast too?
You have to,
That I think I'm going to get ambushed or something like that.
yeah, and you got ambushed at
Yeah.
the very end. Yeah.
Because I know Gene and Richard, and it was like twisting an arm to get on.
Yeah, Gene is unfortunately adversarial to the whole idea of nuclear.
And I never mentioned nuclear near the beginning, although I used a few nuclear examples for the type of work it can be done. Because I know
Yeah,
that,
an
and
extremely energetic event is what we kept calling it. And,
Yeah.
They're smart. They know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
well, I was trying to make it so that you tell me what it is. I don't know, really. I don't have evidence. All I know is that I've got,
Tell us what else it could be. And
I know that there were
Richard
underground.
ridiculously said that it was thermite. Thermite that burns for 3 months underground.
Yeah.
Well, Richard he suggests it may be. I don't think I've ever heard him directly take that position, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to defend someone who I feel is an adversary of sorts right now, although we're both.
Well, not adversarial because
Oh.
we still love Richard
Yeah.
very much, and
I just
you know,
want
still
to. I
work
just
with
want to
him.
slap the
But,
back of his head, you know.
He's a stumbling block for this one particular issue.
Because he's become iconic. He's a fixture. He is. You know, he's created.
Well, he's fixated on building 7 and thermite.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I never disagreed.
Yeah, we don't disagree. And he seems to think that it's negating thermite, and it's not.
It's part of the history, as far as I'm concerned. That's the whole thing about becoming an amateur anthropologist, because I just want to understand how this whole thing worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
When, you know, like I said, in 100,000 years, when the anthropologist, whoever's occupying this planet, you know, discovers this scoured bedrock above what used to be, below what used to be Manhattan, and they see these cavities in it, these things that are deeper than the bedrock scoured. We're going to say, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I'll be the
these
first to admit
people
that
doing?
the towers, I haven't really gotten into all of it. I just know that, multiple buildings fell that day from 2 planes, and localized fires have never taken down buildings of that magnitude. And so there's got to be foul play some way, somehow.
Right.
This is one of the images that first piqued my curiosity. When I first looked at this, and I said to myself, holy shit, they set off thermonuclear devices in Manhattan.
Just look at that for a moment, Adam.
Look at
the size of the people.
Yeah.
For scale.
Yeah. Huge.
That's a huge.
And look at these forms, these 2 semicircular. This is where you can see the binocular definition of the shapes. So that's an implication that there's a certain shape that has been formed here. This is what they did. This was the final stage of cleanout. This is the most dramatic image that I've been able to find, because it covers both holes very nicely.
What's so mysterious? It's underneath building 4.
Yeah, it's underneath building 4. This is what they discovered after they removed the overburden, all the structural steel. This is the hole nearest this, like a lift in the bedrock. This is the slurry wall, and they poured the slurry wall down to the bedrock. They essentially trenched down to the bedrock, filled it with bentonite, and then poured cement in at the bottom, and it displaced the bentonite, forced the bentonite up and out. So this is one of the cavities, and this is the other cavity. This is further into the excavation. You notice that this rusty steel, iron, tubular thing sticking up. The post office building back here, you can see they're getting in deeper, and they're starting to break off. They're starting to break off this stuff. They're breaking off what we'll call the overhang, which we'll see a little bit later. This is a great picture because it contrasts the old face, the fractured faces of the bedrock as it formed and broke and moved. This is a new surface, a newly exposed surface in this mineral.
You can see it's polished looking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, They're working, notice the slurry. They're power washing the walls of this, by the way. There are two words, migmatite and anatexy, that describe this type of surface texture. Generally caused, it's the boundary of metamorphic rock where a great amount of heat has, been at that rock, and this is where the fracturing at the surface of that rock stopped. And it's such a beautiful elliptical form. I mean, I've given each one of these names. I can't remember the name of this one right now, but this is a slurry that's washed down from the walls of the cavity that they're pumping out and hauling away to somewhere. This is the new building number 7. Thank you, Chris Droya. They had that up while they were still doing the clean out. We're looking up at the new building 7 from the cavity beneath World Trade Center 4.
How long did it take them to get all that out of there?
Less than 2 years.
Yeah. My understanding is they were getting stuff out of there pretty damn quickly at the beginning.
Well, building number 7 was a secured space, and that was really interesting listening to Captain Peterson on Richard. Now, Richard Patterson, thank you. That was a stunning interview, because here's a man that dedicated himself to public safety, from what I'm gathering in this conversation, who went to the site voluntarily and had a hard time getting there and stayed until he had to be carried away 2 days later. He had to be carried away in an ambulance. So this is a great story to start with. But, the things that he talked about how the earth was shaking before building number 7 came down, and how they heard these bang, 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 bang. These fast succession bangs has led me to the final conclusion on the final demise of building number 7 with the latest graphic that I presented to the group. So that's pretty much the end of the game. All right, so this was less than 2 years. There's the pipe. 2 years from the
I
time.
don't know what that pipe, the significance of the pipe is, but it is striking.
Yeah. Well, it survived. I mean, it was outside the boundary. Something you got to remember. It was outside the melt boundary. It's within the fracture, where they had to fracture to take the overhangs away. And we're going to look at an overhang in a minute in a drawing. And this is the dead giveaway. A beautiful detail of surfaces and textures. Like I said, I gave each one of these. I call that Hades' cradle. This is like his little sofa, his space to sit. And if I ever get down there, that's where I want to stand and play my saxophone. Because this space probably still exists. It's probably still a void beneath that building. It would have cost a lot to fill it, and I'll bet people go down there. I don't want to get weird. This is the pre-survey. Again, that.
Can you show it without the overlay?
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to see it.
Oh, I think I had a big one of the pre. Oh shit! I don't have a big one of the pre. I'll add one, sweetie. I'll put one in.
Yeah, you got to do that because it's really hard to see it with the overlay.
Right.
Bottom line, Adam, is we got to hold Dave Meiswinkle actually was the one who turned Lorenzo on to the survey. He said, contact Miss Moss. So he got a hold of the subterranean survey.
The geotechnical survey.
Yeah, before construction of building 4.
It showed up at the beginning of the survey, but later in the report, this image that we're looking at over here, and I'll run down to this one here. We'll look at it in pieces for now. We'll start at the bottom. Go ahead, Susie.
So the striking thing about pre-construction survey of the exact same site,
right,
and post 9/11 survey of the exact same site,
right. Now I
don't match.
Right, these were all overlaid using street details and the locus marks. What I did was I put both of the surveys together and got them to locate each other. And then laid them over this until the street surveys matched up. So essentially what I did was make one of them match the street survey and then line the other one up with it. The ones that worked best, do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure it was like tweaked right. So I was able to get an
Locus
accurate
points.
overlay, as far as location, survey location of the topographics to the building. So I thought that would be the most striking image.
Right. So
the-
basically, we're showing that the 2 maps, pre-construction and post 9/11, are the same locale.
Right, that's what that indicates.
Right. Now, I'm going to back up a moment and tell you what the official story is for the deep cavity, the 40-foot cavity.
How
The
deep are you?
official-
Right.
The official story is what caused that deep cavity was ice age erosion. Now you tell me, how could ice age erosion appear post-construction?
Probably the same way that Pfizer doesn't release its information on its ingredients for 70 years.
Yeah.
Epstein's
So,
Epstein's
this
camera
is-
wasn't working.
So basically, this we don't know how to do a FOIA. We don't know how, we're inadequate to the task. But this needs to be proven, that their official story of the deep hole cannot be.
Now, the reason for this is because we have this really strong evidence that this type of event did occur here, and we have possibly corroborating evidence in the first hump of the day with the seismic report, which happened before the first plane struck. If this event happened then, it could have produced the steam that killed a lot of people. That William Rodriguez testified that people were coming out of the elevator shaft with their skin burned off. Well, second-degree burn is like a steam scald. So it's not like being exposed to a flash of a fire. It's like being blasted in the face with high-pressure steam.
Yeah, you would really be, I think, really well served being connected to Bill Deagle. If you guys are really interested, he
Yep.
is brilliant. He's very smart. He will talk and talk and talk. But I mean, he on his radio show every day, he says point blank, if anybody wants to debate me on the thermonuke thing, you come on my radio show. I'll make time for you. Let's go. And nobody
Can
will
you
do it.
connect us with him?
Yeah. I can do that.
Now,
That'd
I
be
would love to go on, but I wouldn't be an adversary. That's a problem.
No. He would. You guys would probably agree. He is a proponent of the mini nukes.
Well, I'd be able to support it with this research.
Yeah. And whatever he's working on, I mean, that man's brilliant. When you talk to him, you'll very quickly see what I'm talking about. He's one of those guys, and he's got a photographic memory, and he just goes.
Well, I can't wait to show him this stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
this is 40 feet below the original bedrock surface, 40 feet deep at each one of these 2 points. They're almost identically deep. Odd forms because the minerals in this bedrock are different, and who knows the way the thermodynamics of the day worked. You got this amazingly powerful heat source that's just enough to go out this far with this type of damage and stop. Collateral damage is the sinkhole, and there might have been some steam venting, and that's the stuff that went into the west bathtub that caused a lot of injury to people. This is the key here, Adam. This is when I looked at this, and I had seen this 2 or 3 years even before the David Meiswinkle pointed me back at it, and I ignored it. It was like I wasn't ready for it. I don't know. I saw it. I saw these images. I saw the original topographic image, and I said, no, it doesn't mean anything to me right now. I did not know what was going to happen in the next 2 years when I put the question out again. I asked, I ignored it, and then I asked again. I said, holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? And Susan remembers when that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your blood pressure went dangerously high.
Kablooey!
Yeah.
This is 60 feet below sea level right here. That's 100 feet below sea level right there. That's a total of 40 feet between what was the bedrock surface by that that dotted line. We'll start it again, or we'll reschedule. Stop. Let's get this out of here. So we have a few minutes. This was the original level, the flat bedrock level. These overhangs are so indicative because it shows that around 80 feet down, between 60 and 100, which is the depth of the holes, that it has a wide spot, a belly, like a bulge, and it's a beautiful form. It indicates that this was not fractured, but had not caused by ice age erosion. I mean, this here used to be the original that up there. That surface right there used to be right up there. This surface here used to be right there too. This is called an upheaval in this type of explosion, and this is a subsidence. I mean, this whole thing became a subsidence anyway. But yeah, this is the and the indication of subsidences in underneath each tower is and this thank you, Susie. Oh, for years I said, can somebody please make me an animation, depicting this? I talked with my friends.
We were hoping Gene La Rotunda would be happy with this, but no.
No, he doesn't
because
like.
He's so clever.
You can say whatever you want about these people. I promise it stays here. I'm not.
No, this video will be shared. I got nothing to hide from anyone. I have nothing to hide from anyone.
I love what Gene does with graphics. It's
Me too.
really wonderful.
So
very clever. Very yeah.
I actually had a lot of fun making this. I mean, I got
Yeah.
this new artist's acrylic paint set, and I photocopied up a few of the framing images and the foundation. Oh, and shading. Susie really likes the shading around everything because it's alive. Every frame was shaded differently.
I think that's cool.
So that's the first one. That's the initial reaction, and this could be very well what took out that area of tower number 7. This would be the reaction that started, initiated the collapse. It makes total sense to me with all of the witness testimony and the seismic data. And this is the depiction of the collapse, and it shows at this point here the explosive. Boom, starts from the top down. Boom, 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 blowing everything apart. But what happens before that is that the core descends almost as a unit, even though it's severed in a number of places. It's cut by thermite, and most of the critical connections from the whole core are pretty much cut into sections. It just wouldn't fall because it was contained in the perimeter, which was not compromised until near the end. So this is putting stress on all the fasteners between the perimeter and the core, making it so much easier for these explosions to blow this steel away. Without that, I think the windows would have gotten blown out, and they wouldn't have had as an effective a dismemberment of the building without using extremely higher explosives. So I'm thinking about this very practically. And this is a fascinating conversation I had with Kingsley. I told Susan we'll share the video that we made because it's got some points in it. Although the last conversation that I had with Kingsley, Susan's aware of, and I'm not clear where to go with that right now. I'm sort of chilling. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the last but not least, the final act of the day, and then coming up, making sure that I had a good idea of what was going on between the initial collapse, the earth shaking, the people that testified to the earth shaking, and then the final bang, 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 bang. There was really no sign of any explosive activity in the top end of that building.
No, there wasn't. Yeah.
So,
you think mini nukes were actually used as well inside the building?
What?
Just beneath? You think the mini nukes were used just beneath?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything was underneath. It was all designed. The walls of these were all cross-braced. It's like you took a cardboard box that had a bunch of stuff inside of it that was connected.
If you watch Operation Plowshare, which was done in the mid-70s, you will understand more clearly how controlled nuclear devices underground will contain be much more containable. I'm not sure if that's a good word, but it's very controlled.
Okay.
It's not like the atom bomb, not like Hiroshima or anything like that.
Okay, this is a really interesting. It's on the website. All this stuff is on the website, Adam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
there's a good video of Operation Plowshare.
it's a really. I mean, shall we continue?
It really explains it well and how this could have been used.
I'm going to start the session again because we're on a roll and it's not that late yet.
Well,
Susie,
it is for me.
it is for Susie. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna, if this when this cuts
Sorry, I
out,
really have to bail because it's I'm an early bird. I have
Well,
to go to bed at 9.
I was gonna say too, I told my girlfriend I do about an hour to an hour and a half, so we're kind of hitting that point.
Okay.
So I still have to do my 7 miles of running, and I've got to cook dinner with her. So
good. All right, thank you very much, Adam. This is probably going to
Yeah,
shut off.
I
in-
hope we piqued your interest.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely. I was gonna say this is just the beginning, and we've got 4 more minutes, so we're not gonna get cut off. But I've got the website, and so I'm gonna keep digging into what you guys have given me. But well, the next time we set up, we'll finish this presentation up, and I'm happy to give you guys a glimpse into what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Right, awesome. And if you can connect us with Bill Deagle
Yep, I will do that. I will tell you.
and Xander as well.
Yep, I'd be happy to. And I'll
Great.
tell you that the last few interactions with Bill got a little strange. I haven't talked to him for a minute, but he called me 40 some odd times, left me 40 some odd voicemails.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of like, whoa. But I know if I just say, hey, Dr. Bill, you really should talk to these people. I'd like to link you guys up. I think everything will be fine.
Well, I don't go anywhere that doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense to somebody, I just have to say, well, it apparently doesn't make sense to them. Bye.
Yeah.
You can't argue. You can't argue.
Hopefully he just wants to look at what you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you guys, and he's a nice guy, and he's very, very, very open. So. But it's just, it was kind of like, why is this guy calling me so damn much? I just kind of took a step back.
So you haven't responded yet?
Well, he wanted me to keep coming on his radio show, and I did it a couple of times.
Oh, the radio show guy.
Yeah, and it was just kind of one of those things where I was working, and it's like, I did it a few times. I took my lunch hour, and I went on his show, and he did 95% of the talking. We just kind of just talked about Ukraine and all sorts of other shit, and I was like, damn it, I can't be a host, It's like, but yeah, it's all good. I mean, I don't know what happened.
I would tend to lose interest pretty quickly if it's about the commentator.
Oh yeah, well, this guy, like I said, if you're interested in thermo nukes, I mean mini nukes. Is it mini nukes?
Well, there would be. You classify these particular nukes as probably neutron type because they are the safest. They'll kill people if they're air bursts, but they're very controllable. Their main function was the neutron emission.
Oh, okay.
They were meant to kill people and not destroy property.
I'll link you up with him. I'll put you guys in touch via email. That shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Again, I'm a fundamental. I don't know enough to build a bomb, but I can.
Thank God for that.
Well, thank you so much, you guys, the both
Next
of you.
stop, FEMA camp.
You got to have a sense of humor. I mean, it's been nearly
This
21
stuff will
years.
drive you nuts. It'll take you down. It'll drive you nuts if you don't have some type
I've
of
seen it. I've seen people go nuts. Really.
So,
Yeah. It's a tough road to hoe.
Yeah.
It is.
Somehow they managed to keep me on this side of the nut
Oh,
house.
you're still pretty eccentric, honey. But I think you were born that way.
No, and don't change. I told you when I sent you the initial email, I think you and I are going to get along just fine. So
I'm looking forward to doing this real soon again.
yeah, we'll set it up. We'll set up a time. Absolutely.
I think we're out. We have less than a minute. So again, thank you very much, Susie. Good night. I'll talk with you tomorrow.
Hey guys.
And looking forward to talking with you about this, that, and the other thing.
Likewise, we're going to have some discussions.
Good.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay.